You're listening to Rein with Ash and Josh.
Get nice and comfy. Settle in.
Here we go.
Don't be nervous, Jodie. We'll go easy.
Please do.
Don't worry.
Good start. Brilliant.
I told you it was very informal. Okay, welcome back to the Rein podcast. We are thrilled to introduce Jodie Hall McAteer, a rising star in the world of showjumping. From her impressive victories in pony and junior competitions to her recent success on the senior circuit, Jodie has proven herself to be a talented and dedicated rider. Join us as we dive into her journeys, achievements and aspirations. Jodie Hall McAteer.
Thank you, guys.
That's the reason she's here.
Yeah, the only reason. That's the first time we didn't even have to ask you to do that, so I feel prompt you. You it just subconsciously came to you. Really impressive. Jodie, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, guys. I'm looking forward to it.
Don't be nervous.
I'm very nervous.
You shouldn't be. Don't be nervous. It'll just be, like I say, you're doing really great things at the moment, so it's nice that people that get to see you from the riding perspective will also get to know a little bit about Jodie Hall. So Josh is going to start us off.
Can you tell us a little bit about your successful days as a pony and junior rider?
Yeah, so I guess my grandparents actually had a riding school at home in Hertfordshire, so I grew up kind of on the back of my nan's lessons, I guess. And then my parents have been involved in the jumping side of things. They were dealing and producing and selling the horses, so it kind of from a young age got competitive very quickly and got serious very quickly. And I guess then, I think from the age of 13, younger than that, 12, I think I jumped for Great Britain, and that was in children on horses. And then I did ponies, juniors, and it's just kind of all evolved, I guess, from there.
How did you make that transition from sort of juniors, young riders into now your senior career?
I guess it's easy to say now that it was easy, but it wasn't. I had a lot of success.
That would be the easy answer.
Yeah, I had a lot of success at a young age, I guess, and I was very fortunate. I always had good ponies, and yeah, I guess I had to sell a few along the way and produce them as well, because that's what my parents did for the business side of things. And I guess then when you turn 18, you go into horses, everyone's kind of doing their own thing a bit. Your friends are all at the other shows in the horses. You're not all going around the same shows. And also for me, I had to decide between uni and just the riding. So it was a little bit like coming back to square one. You really had to find your feet, and it wasn't always easy, but I stuck with it, and I'm pleased I did. And yeah, I am where I am today.
So you touched on it there, between uni and horses. Mm-hmm. What made you choose horses?
So to be honest, I did very well in school actually. I got 3 A stars in my A-levels. And
I don't want to sound surprised, but I am.
Wait, I was going to say the opposite. Why?
Really?
You look very intelligent. That was a really nasty comment you said there. You tell me, why do you think she was thick like us?
I don't think she was thick.
You was grouping her with us.
No, I was not grouping her with us. Do not be silly. It's just normally a lot of people have commitment with the horses, especially when she was competing for Great Britain at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you've covered that so well.
Education suffers.
It does. I think a lot of people drop out. Yeah,
He's good.
It's hard to balance it, and I think I got to the end of school, like my A-levels especially, and I got to the end of the year and I had like 75% absences in afternoon, purely because I was...
And you still managed to come away with decent...
But I actually think a lot of that was down to the fact that I was almost ahead of the class. Because I wasn't there, they'd set work, and I was I was quite keen, I was conscientious, so I did it. And
so you almost did more than the people that were just turning up and being like, yeah, I'm here.
No, I think that was a lot to do with it. And yeah, I really enjoyed school. I loved learning. And I was a bit of a nerd, to be honest with you.
I can see, that's what I see. I can see the nerd.
I wasn't very cool at school.
What was your the earliest view growing up through school and the horses? Was that quite an understood thing with your peers, or were they just like, what the hell is your lifestyle about?
Yeah, I think when I was in primary school, they understood it. I actually moved school for A-levels. I moved to a sixth form. And actually now, like, my friends that I made from there, I went there completely alone, didn't know anyone going there. And my friends that I've made there are some of my closest friends now, and they have no idea about the horses. They came to a few of the shows in London when they can to watch, but they have no idea. Like, one's an architect, one's a chef, one's a school teacher, like all different things. And but they're really understanding. It's quite nice because I can go with them, be myself, and get away from the horse side of things a little bit. But they're also really interested in understanding. So yeah, they're amazing people.
It's probably nice to be able to have people that separate from that world. Imagine it's almost nice to have two worlds that you can go in and out of rather than it being everything all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And they're really refreshing. And also you can go and speak to them about stuff going on outside of horses. You know, it was really, especially the community with show jumping. I mean, you guys probably know as well, like you get in a little bubble.
In the circle now,
yeah. Exactly.
Moving up in the world.
You forget there's a life outside of horses, and yeah, they remind me of that. You go off, you do different things, and it's really cool.
You said earlier that you had some sort of challenges that you faced.
Turn your phone off. We had this. I told you the other day.
Okay, technically that's Jodie's fault because it was on loud, so I knew where she was.
Jodie, apologise.
I didn't get lost either.
Did you not? Did you find it straight away first time?
I did get lost.
Hello.
Yeah, but you touched on some of the challenges that you faced. Like, what were those challenges, and how have you been able to deal with them?
Yeah, so
He's checking. He's definitely done it now.
I think the biggest challenge for me was always had a balance between the school and the riding, and I enjoyed both a lot. And then all of a sudden your friends, they go off to uni, they're partying, and you're at the yard all day working late nights. It's really all consuming. And especially like when you're 18, 19, I don't think anyone really knows what they're doing. There's a lot of pressure these days, I think, for people to know what path and direction they want to go down. And for me, yeah, it was quite isolating and lonely. And as I said, like, you're not going to the same shows as all your friends were going to. So you're going to places where it's a lot of old people, essentially. So the social side of things is completely different. And then when you go back to square one, I was lucky I had a lot of success, but then also it didn't come quickly with the horses. Okay, yeah, I've been lucky the last few years, but yeah, it took a lot of hard work and determination, and it was hard at times.
I, as a dressage rider, I really struggled with it being so isolating and lonely. And I only really realised how much I struggled from it when I started therapy. For me, that was a huge struggle on my part. And I think it's becoming more and more common for people to have therapists and psychologists, etc. Is that something that you've used to support you along the way?
Yeah, definitely. The mental side of thing is something that I've really worked on. I work with a therapist for a long time, and actually I have a mental coach as well, Poppy Blanford, through the Rolex Young Riders Academy. I started working with her beginning of last year, and she made a massive difference to my riding and my confidence, like in the saddle and handling the pressure, the stresses of the shows, and yeah, the lifestyle, really.
What would you say that she helped you with specifically?
So to be honest, I think I was lucky that the first year I jumped the global tour, I was 20.
Wow.
And I went into it and I'd done 2 5-star shows before COVID, and then all of a sudden I got to do 10 in the space of 6 months.
It's insane.
It was really overwhelming. And then it got to the end of the year, and that team, I was with Cascai Charms, they weren't doing it anymore. And I was very fortunate, Georgina Bloomberg asked me to join New York Empire as their under 25 rider. So I was going into the next year, and I just thought to myself, I got to the end of the year, it felt burnt out, hadn't necessarily enjoyed it, decided I couldn't ride on a team, I just kept messing up under the pressure. Like in Rome, we were in the lead, and the last line, I just got excited, basically, had the last 2 down. And I thought, right, looking ahead to next year, I want to do this properly and I want to make sure I have fun along the way. So it was just kind of about working with her to create a process where you are confident going in the ring, doing your job. You can make your little bubble, and that you do it for yourself at the end of the day, and the results take care of themselves.
Was that something you struggled with prior to speaking to someone, like how to handle pressure and like the mental side of competing?
Yeah, and I hadn't realised how much of a difference just little things, like even on a course, everything can happen so quickly. When you walk a course, find a space to breathe, slow everything down, because that all affects the horse as well at the end of the day. And if you're feeling stressed or anxious or letting the moment get the better of you, you're not fully focused on what's happening underneath you. And it's just all about little tactics, like knowing what I need, like at shows when there's a big occasion or whatever, like taking myself away from everything going on for a little bit, just sitting at the stables, having like a clear system that I know, and in the warm-up knowing what I need to do, what jumps I want to jump, the feeling that I want, so that when I go in the ring, the bell goes and I can get the job done.
I think the biggest thing that I've taken from it is when you're talking about that, is how confident you are in your routine.
Yeah.
And it just sounds like you've absolutely nailed now your routine of putting you in the best position to be able to go and perform.
Yeah, I had, so the first thing you have to do is if I asked you, okay, you have to go and ride this test, how do you do it? And it's the same with jumping riders. Like you'll sit there and you'll say, okay, so you've got to jump this horse around a set of fences, what do you do? And it's unbelievable how many people can't tell you how to ride a horse around a ring, even though they've done it their whole lives. And it's not until you sit back and you really think about the process, like want to come around the corner, like good rhythm, like nice 2 reins in the middle, until you think about things like that you're clear in your process and how it is that you want to do it. And that gives you confidence.
Totally. Do you prepare for things going wrong?
So that all comes with experience, actually. And I've had a lot, in the past, the more experience you get and the more things go wrong, that's when you learn the most. And for example, I was in Hamburg, and last year I was on the team with Harry Charles there, actually.
Geezer.
Yeah. We were in the lead. We were both clear round 1 and Harry was clear round 2. Anyway, they have a big bank. It's like Hicks did. So you have the big bank round the corner. And my trainer had said, okay, that comes round fast. Ride the line behind to number 2 so that when you go in, you can thing. So the bell went as soon as I went in, and the bank's all the way at the other side. So I came to number 1 and I hadn't practiced the line. And the whole way to number 1, I was thinking, I haven't practiced the line here. So I came round, crashed through number 2, kept going.
Sorry, that's mine.
Is that your one?
Ignore me there. There you go.
So then from that, you kind of learn that it's all about, okay, things go wrong, but okay, I couldn't practice the line when I went in, but it's not the end of the world. You just got to focus on what you want to create rather than what's gone wrong.
Yeah.
Were you able during that round to put it aside eventually, or is that...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I finished the rest of the course. I think we finished 5th for the team. Where if I'd circled and we could have been last, So you just got to keep thinking what's coming next and what you want to create rather than what's gone wrong.
I think when I see you guys jumping round, like what you're thinking in that moment, I think it's very easy to be like, from the perspective of, I'm going to, how many steps here, go over that, and then I'm going to go around in this direction, take this angle. Is there moments where you just go into your own different place and your head just goes into a completely different direction?
I think I kind of go into autopilot. I'm really laser focused, and that's
almost like, you're not there.
Exactly. I was listening actually, sorry guys, High Performance Podcast.
It's not a rival in equestrian. We listen to High Performance.
And actually Fernando Alonso was on it, and he was saying that when he's driving a Formula 1 car, he imagines it, visualizes. Visualizes. What's the word for its process where you mentally visualize? I think, visualize. He visualizes the track, and he says in those moments he's like a robot. And that's just how it is. And I guess a little bit like when I go in the ring, everything else just goes away, and it's just about me and the horse. And
it's almost like you never lived it.
Yeah, exactly. And actually I look back at videos from last summer. I had an amazing season, and I look back now and I'm like, like it doesn't even feel like it was me, you know?
That just shows the strength of like visualization that and everything, the process that you put in place has allowed you to be at peak performance.
Yeah. And it's quite like it's an amazing feeling when it all comes together like that.
What were some of the challenges that you faced along the way? Because obviously we're talking about now you've got the routine that's working for you, but what are some of the challenges that you faced while you were implementing this into your riding?
I think probably, just you've got to get in, you've got to get experience, and the more you do it, the easier everything becomes. That first year was really hard. It also meant, for me personally, I made the decision to spend more time in Holland training, so I left home at a young age, put everything kind of into the training and practicing, and I just wanted to make the most of the opportunities I had, really. And
what age were you when you left home?
20.
Yeah.
20.
Especially like nowadays, that is a young age to leave home.
Yeah.
So it's quite one of those things that, puts you a little bit at the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
How did you cope with that change of being very independent and on my own, trying to do something?
Yeah, I guess it's the same when people go off to university. It was a little bit like my university experience was a bit different. But the only difference was at weekends I couldn't necessarily come home to visit my friends and family. I was in a different country. But yeah, I kind of lived off adrenaline, really, at the excitement of everything, of going new places, jumping at shows I dreamed of jumping at. So it was pretty cool, and you grew up pretty fast. I had to find my feet a lot. It wasn't easy, but yeah, I'm pleased I've done it.
You said about travelling places and seeing new things.
Yeah.
You're quite lucky with, especially the GCT, you get to travel a fair bit and jump in different places. List some of the places that you've been to.
Doha, Rome, Stockholm, Paris, Monaco, Madrid, London. Yeah.
What was your favourite place to jump?
Any place I jump clear around, to be honest with you.
That is an understandable answer.
No, I think the old-fashioned shows are the best ones. Like Hicks did, obviously.
Yep.
Madrid's a good one. Big grass ring, amazing crowd. Hamburg in Germany, that's also an amazing historical show. They're all different. They're all unique. Doha is an amazing venue. Unbelievable for the horses, and it's just a completely different experience to the rest of the shows.
Miami looks good.
I haven't done that one yet.
Miami
it's
looks
on the bucket
good.
list.
Yeah, I think it's just the idea of that being by the beach.
Exactly, bit of Baywatch.
Oh, love it. Is there one in Mexico as well?
Yeah, the following week normally. They're back to back. Everyone says Mexico's the best one.
I love Mexico.
I've never
been. The tequila is incredible. Absolutely incredible. I don't recommend you trying it before jumping in Mexico.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I could handle the tequila, to be honest with you.
No, that's, Is there, when you're jumping in teams and stuff like that, is there much communication between the set teams that you're on how your team's doing? Because this is one thing I'm very, very new to GCT. And I absolutely love the concept of it. It's the most entertained I've been in horses, because it's very difficult to take something that is to make it more entertaining than what people already find it, especially trying to breach that like mainstream of viewer. Mm-hmm. I think the GCT is the closest thing that's been able to do that. But the one thing I couldn't work out is it didn't feel at times that it was a team. But I think there's a difference in like Formula One, they're all round the track at the same time. Yeah. Now, if you put every rider in a sand school at the same time, chaos. It's not going to happen. So obviously you're competing individually, but it didn't feel like it was it didn't really highlight the teams when you were jumping. So is there much communication as a team, or we're at this level where we need to do this, or who's going up next, or what's the behind the scene teams side look like?
So there's 6 riders on a team. I'm on New York Empire team, and each team has an under 25 rider. So I'm their under 25 rider this season, and the riders are from different nations. So in the team I'm on, there's Scott Brash, Dennis Lynch, he's Irish, Bertram Allen, also Irish, Frank Schutter. He's Dutch.
Say his second name again. Go on.
I can't say it because my
No,
Dutch is
I
not
try.
good.
I love the way you attention it the first time.
Yeah. He knows his name.
He's big enough. He's a geezer. He knows.
Yeah. And then Spencer Smith. He's American. And yeah, so 3 riders go to each show. And we have a team manager, Richard, and he organises who goes where. And it depends. We all communicate what horses you have, what your own show schedule is. If you have Nations Cups, obviously, then some riders have to go to those. And when you're at the show, you jump the warm-up. Normally we'll have an idea before the show who's doing what round or who's going to be the third, like the reserve rider or however, and make a plan, really. So there's a lot of communication and tactics that go into it.
Yeah, the most thrilling bit of show jumping I've watched was when I just went and saw you guys in Chelsea. It went opposite the Chelsea pensioners, wasn't it? That's where.
Yeah.
And Jessica Springsteen, that round. I watch for some. Yeah, fair play. But she took a corner, and the way she jumped it, I don't know if it was sheer fluke. And it's like fair play to you regardless, or just sheer talent. But she took the corner so tightly and then jumped. I think that's what won of that round. But it's the first time watching show jumping, I was really like, even I got a bit going like, oh, she's done that. Fair enough. What is the most exciting bit of show jumping you've ever watched?
Ever watched?
And you can't say yourself.
I haven't watched myself, unfortunately. Not in real life, anyway. I was in London 2012 watching when they won the medal. Maybe I was a bit too young to appreciate it at the time. But actually this year in Stockholm, I was there for the Global, and Henrik von Eckermann, Swedish rider, world number 1, he was last to go in the Grand Prix. And the atmosphere there when he won the Grand Prix, it was unbelievable. Like, you got goosebumps. And I hadn't had a great show that weekend, to be honest, and I hadn't qualified for the Grand Prix. I wasn't jumping it, but I had a late flight, so obviously stay and watch, try and learn something. And I'm pleased I did, because when you see that, that's kind of, as a rider, that really inspires you, and that's the feeling you want to get yourself one day.
What was it like making your senior debut in Lisbon in 2019? Please say I got that right.
Look at that. He's come out with accurate.
That was very, very impressive.
Thank you.
That feels like a lifetime ago now, to be honest with you.
That's pre-COVID.
It was pre-COVID, and I remember it's quite an old-fashioned show. It's a grass ring, and we did the parade for the team, I think at 2:00 in the afternoon. And the first round was jumped on normal grass, like normal daylight, and the second round is always under the lights there. The lights broke, so
that's not ideal.
So they couldn't start the second round, I think, till about 10:00 that evening or something outrageous. So you can imagine you've been building yourself up since when I woke up in the morning to flat ride till you don't jump the second round 10:00 in the evening.
It really pushes back the party, doesn't it?
I did. I was a bit young then to go to the party, to be honest with you. But that was really cool. I probably, looking back now, it just kind of happened. It was one of those things, and I didn't really appreciate what I was doing at the time. But yeah, it was really cool. I think I had clear and 4 there, I think, or 4 and clear.
Well, we're looking at our stats.
Was it clear? Yeah, you'd know more than me.
Yeah, clear and 4.
Clear and 4, yeah. And actually that horse, he's my best horse now still.
Wow.
So he went from everywhere, from salt and pepper, from juniors to my first senior Nations Cups to then, Super Leagues last year, my first Grand Prix, World Cups. He's done everything.
So you've had a real journey with him along the way then?
Yeah, exactly.
Was that the horse that you won the bronze at the Young Riders in Villamora?
No, that's I say my second horse.
Okay.
That's Kosa. I've also had her a good few years now. And a similar kind of thing. She was with me. My parents' rider, Kaylee Watts, was riding her for a bit. And she did an amazing job with her. And my dad said, you should really have a sit on this one in case we had clients interested, in case you like her. So, I took her with me to Holland, and she stepped up amazingly well. And, she was the horse I had there at the Europeans a few years ago.
What was that experience like as a young rider and winning a bronze medal?
So to be honest with you, drama. I was at a show in Holland the week before. This was during COVID still. So the show started Wednesday, had to test before, and because it finished on Sunday, everyone had to do a quick test Friday morning to get into the stables.
Okay.
Right.
Did my quick test and I had COVID. So actually they gave me the band. I did the test. They gave me the band, went to the stables, and they rang and said, Jodie, you need to come and do another test, because they weren't checking it properly, I don't think.
What are the whole lot of them weren't, or was it just a bit not certain on? COVID was very new at that point, or was it like?
Oh no, this was probably a year in. So anyway, I went back.
No excuses then.
Yeah, I went back, did another test, and it was still positive. So they said, okay, Jodie, you need to leave. You need to go home. I said, what? So I can't jump this week? No, you need to go and quarantine. And obviously I was out in Holland. The horse was meant to leave that weekend to go to the Europeans, and then suddenly I had to do 8 days quarantine. So we sent the horse. It stayed quarantined, isolated in a little cottage in Holland. And then the Sunday morning, I missed the vet check. Sunday morning, drove to Almelo, did my test after my quarantine. Thank God it was negative. And then got on a flight, went to the Europeans. I actually won the first day individually. And then in the warm-up, the second day, my last oxer, the horse stumbled on landing, and then I jumped a really small vertical and went in, and she just didn't feel the same. I had 4 down, and then obviously it's a Nations Cup, so then you have to do another round, and again I had 4 down, so I was the drop score, and luckily my teammates did a great job, and we still got a bronze medal. But to be honest with you, it was my last year for Young Rider, and I went there with the feeling that I could have come home with an individual medal, and very quickly the week went from good to bad, but that's where it's nice when you're in part of a team and everyone's there around you. And even I didn't know a week before if I'd be able to ride there or not, and yeah, it was a lot of stress.
What is it like being the drop scorer in a team?
Yeah, it's not a nice feeling.
What's the drop score? Just explain that to me.
So when there's 4 riders in the round, while the worst score is dropped, so
right, okay,
yeah, when I had 4 down, then I was the worst performance in the team, so then I'm the drop score. Yeah. And that's not something you go to a championships to be honest with you. So yeah, it's not a great feeling.
I imagine there's more pressure on you if you are also a bit consistently, or every time your name is put next to drop score, of almost like you're fighting the perception of your value being on that. So yeah, I imagine a very difficult thing to handle, the pressure of that.
Yeah, exactly, and especially in team things as well. If you've had a bad first round, you've got to go and do it again. You've got to try and pick yourself up and go in and do again. And to be honest, my horse wasn't in great shape then after that. It just wasn't all clicking and happening. And so, yeah, it was a tough week, to be honest, but I still came away. The first day, it doesn't take it away. I contributed to the team, and if I hadn't have won the first day, we wouldn't have got a medal at all. So yeah, there's 2 sides to everything.
Yeah, of course.
Smashed it. Spin your mic around. You can hold the mic like that. Try if you want to turn the microphone. Yeah, you can spin that bit around if you want.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, don't. Yeah, you never have to apologise.
Thanks.
You just make sure you're comfortable and enjoy it.
I'm enjoying it.
That's good then. I'm right in saying last year you finished as British Under-25 champion, show jumper of the year.
In London, yeah, I won 2 times the Under-25 championship in London.
And that's not bad, is it? That's all right.
It was good going, and then last year I was leading rider at the show there.
That is an amazing achievement. Does it sink in? Have you had time yet to look back and go, what I've achieved is pretty amazing so far?
Oh, I'm pretty damn good.
To be honest with you, this year I'm appreciating a lot more. Last year I went show to show and I achieved a lot of goals, and I got to the end of the year and I was actually a little bit frustrated that I hadn't won something big. I came away from London, I was 3rd in my first World Cup, and I was half a second slower than Scott when he won. And to be honest, when I canted in, I didn't believe I could win it. And I think if I'd believed in myself a bit more, maybe that half a second I would have found it. And it's easy to say that now. And I was over the moon with the result, but I was a little bit annoyed it didn't win.
Yeah.
And then a month later, I went to Amsterdam, the World Cup, and I was like full belief, right? I've done it now. I know I can go a bit quicker and jump clear in the World Cup in Amsterdam. Went like an absolute idiot in the jump off and completely messed up. And then I was even more frustrated, because there was no need for me to mess up so badly. I just overcooked it, and that's a little bit where I'm almost too competitive. I need calming down a little bit.
It's so
sometimes.
funny because I could not see you're one of the calmest people in this industry that we've come across. So very like placid, calm, and then I can almost see a different side to you behind swords going, I'm going to have you.
I think, there's definitely, I probably don't show it. I keep everything kind of calm and content and quite quiet. I do my thing, but yeah, when I go in the ring,
Is it a little bit like Jekyll and Hyde?
Exactly, I think. I'm not even gonna deny it. Like when I go in, I don't want to be second or third or think. I want to go in. I want to do the best I can, and if I'm second or third, if I know I've done the best I can, that's fine. But I don't want to make up numbers. Who's
one person you look at, and if you had to pick one person to go, like Manchester United to Man City, who's your like derby rival?
The course builder. I'm gonna be diplomatic.
Very political answer. That very political answer.
I think you just got to go as fast as you can do, and that was a bit the problem in Amsterdam. That's one of my biggest regrets. But then one of the biggest lessons I learned was you have to stay within your limits and know your limits. And sometimes you do the best round you can do and it's not enough, but then if you keep doing it, one day hopefully it comes good.
How do you recover from shows and then get set, because it's quick turnarounds, isn't it? You're on to the next. How do you recover from slight disappointments?
Yeah, it's hard, especially like me being on my own and in Holland. Like if you've had a bad show, then Monday and Tuesday can really drag on, but normally it's a little bit of a hamster wheel, so there's always something to keep going, keep working towards, and you just got to crack on really, because life doesn't stop or wait around for you. You just got to keep going and take what you can from what you've done wrong and keep learning from it, I guess.
We've touched on numerous highlights of your career so far. Has there been times through it though that you've questioned why you're doing it or the reason you're doing it for?
Yes, definitely. And to be honest with you, COVID, I think, was the best thing that happened to me, because it took away, you can get so caught up in the results and the ranking lists and that side of things, the whole sports side of it, that you forget the whole reason why that you started riding. And for me, I was just a little girl that loved spending time with my pony. So when COVID happened and all the shows stopped, I was just at home at the yard. It gave me such purpose to go out, just be with the horses, really work on just improving them every day. And I honestly think I came out of COVID a much more motivated and better rider. And even now, like in my schedule, especially this year, I tried to give myself breaks a few weeks at a time, and not worry so much about, my rankings dropped a lot this month. I actually, between Hicks and London, I took 2 weeks at home, played around with the younger ones, went and looked at the breeding horses and everything, and spent more time at home with my family and friends. Like, did my jobs, did the work with the horses in the day, and then in the evenings, like, reset, recharge, and that's how I stay motivated as a rider. It works different for everyone.
Oh, it's brilliant that you were able to utilise that time during COVID to be able to find what works for you. Yeah. Because it sounded like if you hadn't have been able to adjust, you were going to burn yourself out.
Yeah, and it's very easy. It's not like tennis or golf. Like, you can't put the racket or the golf clubs away. And the sport is all year round. You can go to an international show every week of the year if you want to. So it's all about managing it and knowing, like, especially your horses as well. Because at the end of the day, I always say my horses jump their best when they're happiest, and it's the same for me as well.
Going on for like a personal note for who is Jodie.
Yes.
What's one of a personal situation that you've had to overcome that you feel like has really aided you in your career?
I think probably just growing and evolving, like being a work in process almost.
Yeah.
And I think like just being exposed to environments, 'cause it's tough, you know, like especially when I got thrown into the deep end. There was a few years ago, there was a lot of people that said, oh, she shouldn't be riding like to that level with that horse, or it's crazy that she's got on a team, or however it was. Everyone's always got an opinion at the end of the day, and you just have to kind of trust yourself, and just kind of grow and trust your confidence and your process, really. And yeah, I guess I've done a lot of work like in my headspace wise to kind of deal and manage all of that.
Everyone does have an opinion, not necessarily the right opinion, but do you think there was a specific reason why people took that approach to you as an opinion?
Yeah, because I probably wasn't ready.
I love the honesty.
I really wasn't. I remember actually I found out someone had pulled out, so it was very last minute. I found out like the second week of January, and the teams were announced the following week. And I remember thinking, I was in the Sunshine Tour and I was watching Doha on Clip My Horse, knowing I had to go to Madrid in a few weeks' time. And I was watching the classes and I was like, there is no way I'm going to be able to do that. And yeah, I guess you're never ready until you try. Like, there's no time to be ready. You just got to get stuck in and make the most of it.
What was your experience like on the Nations Cup finals?
In Barcelona last
year, yes.
That was also tough as well, to be honest with you. It's not a championship, but it's the closest thing to a championship. So the level is crazy. Britain did well. We got through to the finals and we finished inside the top 10. And yeah, I didn't have a bad show at all. I had an unlucky show. I had one down in the Grand Prix, I think one down in the final. My horse jumped really well. And yeah, I learned a lot from that experience, and hopefully I can get there again one day.
It seems like there's like a real gap in riders at the moment. You've got the up and coming generation, yourself, You've got Harry, you've got Joe, the list goes on. And then you've got the older riders, you've got like Scott, you've got Ben Mayer, etc. How is it being on a team of riders like that for you?
Yeah, it's unbelievable because I grew up watching John and Scott and Ben, and yeah, you seems a long way off when you're watching them when you're younger, and then all of a sudden you're in there with them. Like Hicks did last year, it was the Home Nations Cup, and you have to do the team parade. And I'm walking around in the team parade, and I've got John on my left and Ben on my right, and I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing in between these two? And
that was a statement and a half.
No, but
that is going to be the clickbait of the week. I'm going to title this Scandal in the Scandal.
Oh my gosh, no.
I love it.
Yeah, but like it's really cool and you learn a lot from it.
Yeah, well, I bet you did. What's the best bit of advice that they've passed down with their experience to you that you thought that's really resonated?
John always says actually it's how you handle the bad days. Keep cracking on. And that's very true. It's a long career with horses, as he would know more than anyone. So you just got to keep sticking with it.
What is the like team camaraderie between, because like I say, there is quite a gap in age between you guys. What is the team camaraderie like? Do you spend a lot of time socialising, or is it like you're sort of left to yourself?
Yeah, so with especially my generation, we all came through ponies together. So Jack Whitaker, the Charleses, Joe didn't do pony so much, but he did juniors and everything. And it's kind of nice because we've all grown up together and now we're all doing the bigger shows. And that's quite special, really.
Is it I was trying to think how I phrase this, because it's quite must be very surreal for all of you, having spoken to you together and individually, that you've got a platform and you are such a big representation for so many people.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a moment where you actually see that? Because you, like, a lot of you together, it's just normal.
Yeah.
But it's like, for example, London, you are now, and have been from last year, an ambassador.
Yeah.
And you're such a role model for young up and coming women and girls in this industry.
Yeah.
Do you realise how cool that is?
So it takes a while to sink in. I think there's kind of, I do feel the responsibility of it, to be honest with you. Because when I was younger, I remember it was always Ellen Whittaker in her red jacket. Mm-hmm. And I remember asking for her autograph and everything. And she was like, I completely idolised her.
She was like my crush when I was like 12 years old.
Exactly. I think she was everyone's crush. She still is.
Yeah, no, he was a serious crush.
And for me now, like, especially in London, I get people messaging me. I got people writing me letters to say thank you for inspiring their young girl. Like, they were in the warm-up and their young daughter would say, why is there no girls in the warm-up? And then in I came and they say, oh, there's the girl in the blue jacket there and the little sparkly Charles Owen helmet. And,
get your sponsor in there.
And,
so I'll cut that and replace it with like Uvex or something.
And so for me, that's like a really, really, really special. That's a really important thing for me.
Does it add pressure though? Because you are almost like the golden girl.
No, because to be honest with you, it really motivates me and it thrives me to be the best I can be. I was in Rome actually last year and I was 7th in the Grand Prix and I had one too many down the line and maybe I would have been on the podium, and maybe could have had a ticket to Prague, the final. And anyway, I was a little bit disappointed. I was 7th. And anyway,
It's not really good enough though, is it, Jodie?
No, these group of girls came over to me and I was walking back to the stables and they'd flown from Slovakia to watch the show. Wow. And they just said, like, what a great job. They'd been following me all year. What a great job I was doing and thank you for, like, inspiring them. And gave him a hug and like photo and everything.
Insane.
When I walked back to the stables and rang my mum and I started crying.
Oh,
I was like, Mum, it's so nice. It just puts things into perspective. Like, I was disappointed that I'd come 7th in a 5-star Grand Prix and they were all over the moon for me.
But isn't that it though? For example, if someone told you Jodie Hall, the little girl who loved ponies, that one day you'd come 7th there, you'd be like, you'd rip both hands off to achieve that. Yet when you're in that situation, you're kind of like, it's almost underwhelming, which is really weird. We talk about this quite frequently with things that we never thought we'd maybe accomplish or achieve. You achieve them and you're like,
yeah.
Well, and it's on to the next thing.
Do you have much imposter syndrome with it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, like when I watched videos from last summer, and like when I was in Falsterbo, I jumped clear in my first Nations Cup, and even when I watch the video back from London or something, it doesn't always feel like it was me. So I guess it's a little bit of imposter syndrome.
It's really difficult to manage.
No, because I guess when the moment comes again, I hope I can do it. It's not just a one-time thing.
Yeah, I say it because we struggle with at times being in the situation we're at. We quite often find ourselves like, how the fuck are we here? This makes no sense. And especially when we are at shows, because we still have normal jobs we have to do, and social media is one thing that people see, and we could go from one day walking down photos left, right and centre, speaking to lads on a live stage about trying to empower them, and then the next minute we're on a building site. It is really surreal at times to be like, did we just do that? And for me, it takes a couple of days after that to like readapt. Yeah. So it must be quite a strange one for you to go to, say, shows where you see this firsthand, how important you are to people and how much of a spearhead of the younger girls coming up, and then you can go home the next day between shows, and it can be quite isolating at times if you're just riding on your own or there's no one else in the yard, to try and detach or to compartmentalise between those two events that you've just been through.
Yeah, I think it keeps you down to earth. Like at the end of the day on a Monday morning, if my groom's got a day off or something, I'm there mucking out. So it keeps you down to earth, it keeps you humble, and it doesn't, what I'm doing, it doesn't change. I'm doing it for me and for the horses and because I love it. And if I can encourage other young girls and show them that they can do it, then that's just a bonus.
Who organises everything behind the scenes for you?
I'm lucky that I basically have 2 support teams, in as much that I have my family is so involved in England, and I have a great team there, and I also now have a great support team in Holland. But for the majority of everything, like entries, drivers, that sort of stuff, I do it a lot myself.
Do you sleep at night? That sounds like so much stress to organise.
It is a little bit stressful sometimes, especially with horses. The plan changes a lot, as you know. You can plan for things, but it changes day to day. So it's something I've got better at, being adaptable. I like to have a good plan. I like to have structure. I think that's why I was good at school, because I had my structure and everything. And but now I've gone a lot better at kind of going with the flow. Yeah, I'm working on it.
So what is day-to-day life for you running your yard at home?
So it depends where I am and what I'm going, really. So when I'm in Holland, I have 6 horses there. So normally I do rider balance in the morning, like the training in the gym with the bands and everything and stuff. Yeah, training with my trainer Ben, if he's there. And then kind of, preparing for the shows really, or like these next few days I've come to England. I've got a few younger horses in England still at home, so I've been jumping and riding them and helping out everyone at home and doing a little bit like this interview and stuff in between.
Is this the best interview you've done?
Amazing.
Oh, yeah, is this the best interview you've done?
It's the funnest.
Yeah, I'll take that one. With your fitness, what sort of specific things do you do for riding?
So actually I work now with Diego, he's rider balance, and it's kind of changed the way that I train completely. I used to do a lot in the gym, a lot of running and everything, and now he's very focused on the biomechanics of riding, and he'd kill me if I said it all too wrong, and he's very into his accurate. Yeah, I don't want to attempt it because I know I'll do it wrong, and then he'll tell me off the next time.
You've made me looking up there.
Yeah, but it's fascinating actually, and it makes such a difference. Like you see before and after videos of I have terrible posture with my shoulders, and I used to get bad back from riding. I think especially because I'm small as well, my lower leg, I don't use it so good, and stuff like that. And it's just all different exercises, and it's hard. Like you look like you're not working and you're not doing a lot, but it's really hard.
There's probably a lack of, talk about rider fitness. Mm-hmm. You've touched on it here. A few others have spoken about it briefly when we've spoken to other riders. You've touched on it again, that it has hugely helped your riding. Why do you think there isn't maybe sort of normalised for riders?
I think because we're so active anyway. Like you're out on the yard, you're lifting heavy things, you're riding all day, and the last thing you want to do is in the evening is go to the gym. But yeah, you're lucky that you can have a long career if you look after yourself and you look after your body. But also it's about training in the right way, and that's what Diego's really changed my thinking about, because it's not just about having core strength or whatever, it's about changing the whole symmetry basically of your body. Because, for example, my right leg turns out a little bit, so I'm not balanced so good. I put more weight in my left side, and actually a lot of my horses jump more to the left. So it's really about balancing all of that out, your structure and everything, to maximize and become more efficient in the saddle.
I think the listeners listening to the podcast, as well as myself listening to you talk, I'm absolutely amazed with how you've put together a team of people around you at such a young age. Of course, he's going to agree.
I look like a dick if I say no, won't I?
But not many people will be able to put in place the rider fitness
Yeah.
and the help that you've needed off the horse. Like, I fucked up massively. I didn't do any of that.
He just liked the nightclubs.
That was my coping mechanisms. But yeah, it's amazing for someone of your age to have been able to adapt and put people in place where you needed that support.
Yeah, I have a great group of people around me at the moment, and I'm really, really, really fortunate for that because, yeah, I go in the ring and I'm the one there, and you see me with the rosettes and the ribbons, but at the end of the day, it's not just me, it's everyone. Like my groom, Tina, she's been with me 4.5 years now, so from when I was in juniors, basically. She was at that Lisbon Nations Cup. She's been through the whole journey with me, and she's just as important as everyone else is as well.
But also, you were put into professional level at 12 years old. Like, that is a big responsibility at such a young age, and it's almost like you've almost like like you hear about like child TV stars. You're just straight into it. It's all you knew to a certain degree. Would you agree?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the biggest thing about me going to university and everything as well was actually my parents didn't want me to go to uni. They wanted me to ride and they wanted me to jump. And they didn't want me necessarily to do A-levels either. But it was something that I wanted to do because it was important for me, because I knew that, yeah, it's easy for me to say I want to ride my whole life, but no one knows where they want to be or what they'll be doing in 5 years' time. So I wanted to have options. And it was important for me as well because I didn't know anything else other than riding, that I knew that it was what I wanted to do. So I took a gap year and I
Proper gap year.
Yeah, gap year.
Gap year? Where'd you go on your gap year?
Just round sand arenas, unfortunately. No beaches. No beaches in there.
We're riding some horses, where Barlow.
Yeah, I needed to decide that it was what I wanted to do and not just because it's what I'd always done. Yeah.
What does the future hold for Jodie Hall McAteer?
I hope a lot more ribbons. But
with ribbons comes money.
Yeah.
And with money comes sponsors. No way. Sponsors come up. You get more sponsors.
Yeah. I just want to keep having fun, keep enjoying the horses, and yeah, see where I end up.
Come on, for someone so competitive, you know where you want to end up.
Yeah, I want to...
beating everyone.
Yeah, that would be nice. But when you get there, you've got to stay there, and that's another story, so...
Yeah, everyone that we spoke to recently, it's a common topic.
Mm-hmm.
Paris.
Yes. So, yeah.
I wasn't asking about the croissants in context.
They are very yummy. I've been to Paris a few times this year, actually.
I'm going there too, to be fair.
My friends
and
I...
yeah. Next year I'm going as well. Is it next year?
From one of my friends' birthdays, we decided we wouldn't do a night out in London. We'd get the Eurostar to Paris for the night.
Casual, yeah, nice.
So we went to Paris, went to the disco. It's in January. I didn't have any shows coming up, don't worry. And then got the Eurostar, the first Eurostar back in the morning. It was brilliant fun. I would recommend if anyone wants to do it. Paris for the night.
That's really, really cool, Jodie. I'll definitely put it on the list. How about the Olympics? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, so for sure I have. I'd love to be going if there's an opportunity and if I'm in form and if the chance is there, I'll be trying my best. And if not Paris, then hopefully sometime in the future.
Do you think Paris is on the cards though? In your competitive nature, brutally, do you reckon you've got it in the bag?
So to be honest with you, it's been a tough summer for me actually. My best horse, I was on track for the Europeans this summer and he had a little injury there not so long ago. So that put all my plans on hold. So then now obviously he's doing good and we're building him up again, and hopefully now he can hit good form. He'll be ready for next year, and so we'll just have to see.
With the obviously you've got say Paris as the next year. That is the top thing that you're aiming for? Do you look at it and go, this is my top horse, got Paris, let's work our way back and try and aim for him to be in peak at the right time? Yeah.
So that's what I did this year. I had the Europeans written on my calendar basically since January. And for the whole year, we were kind of looking what Nations Cups would be best suited, like trying to get a jump clear in Lisbon in the Nations Cup. And then, so I was careful, I didn't overjump the horse or anything. And sometimes, things can happen and it's beyond your control, really. And it's just one of those things with horses at the end of the day. It's not like we're just relying on ourselves. So, there's a lot of planning and a lot of preparation that goes, like Steve Gurdat this summer. He did an unbelievable job to get the horse where it was for the Europeans, and it was amazing to watch.
Was it difficult to watch the Europeans when you'd planned to be there?
No, to be honest with you, because I'd kind of accepted in the beginning it was hard, and then I accepted the situation. And actually, I ended up, I think I was in Lear that week, so I had all my young ones out, and I was kind of like, get stuck in now and look to the future kind of thing, and just keep going. And it's always good to watch. And I would have loved to be in there, but it didn't happen.
Paris 2024 it is then, Jodie.
I reckon you could do it. I reckon you could do it. Also, a question we ask everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we'd be any good at Paris?
Yeah, 100%. You'd bring the entertainment factor.
There we go. I want this. That's going to be clipped and sent to whoever we need to send it to. Do you know who we need to send that to?
No.
Go on. I bet you could find us a contact.
No. I don't know.
All right, Jodie. Didn't need to say it quite as briefly as that one, but
she doesn't want to put her name on the line.
No, which to be fair is probably smart on your sense. One final question.
Yes.
Because we sort of hit the topic on. Usually we sort of tend to what does the future hold, and where I thought we sort of gathered that. And it's a personal question that I think people should ask people more.
Yes.
How are you at the moment?
How am I at the moment? I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah, I am. I'm looking forwards. I've got a few things. I'm going to Hoys next week, I think. So that's the next thing on the
started
card.
taking horses out.
Yes.
Wait, what did you just say?
Taking horses out. So like horses.
Taking horses, like besides from the career
Yeah,
side
besides
of
from the
things.
career, is Jodie happy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am. And
Sorry, the way he said that, taking horses out, was so out of context for me. I was like, wait, what are you going on about?
throwing them in the field. No, I am. And it was tough this summer because I had my big goal and I kind of put everything into it and it didn't come good. But now it's given me a chance, to spend more time at home, be with my family and friends and do different things. And that's something I want to keep doing as well and have a bit of more of a work-life balance.
Yeah.
Bit more like a normal person.
Yeah.
Right, Jodie, important question for you now.
Yes.
Why should people listen to the podcast?
Oh, strong.
I actually think you guys are doing a brilliant job. I was
that.
you did message me a while ago. And,
I know she ignored us for a reason.
Yes, we did.
And I didn't see it straight away.
Lies.
It's not like we're friends or anything and have a direct contact. Yeah.
No, but I think it's really good what you guys are doing. I have to say it's really admirable. Yeah.
Which has been your favourite episode?
This one.
No. Not accepting that as an answer. What's been your favourite episode?
No, Harry's and Ollie's was good. Actually, Ollie's one, I messaged you after it, didn't I?
Yeah,
you did.
I'm a bit of a sheep. Yeah. So, it's really good.
Amazing.
Lovely. We're going to see you next week, potentially.
Are you going to Hoys?
Yeah,
That's exciting.
It sounded so in your voice. That sounds really fun. Yes, it is, Jodie. We'll be up there next Friday. We're doing a backstage tour. They did not for ourselves.
You know what you're doing now.
No, we've not paid to do a backstage tour. We ran a competition with
No,
Hoys.
we didn't. Always did.
Hoys ran a competition with our
Okay.
faces, and we are giving someone, the lucky winner, a backstage tour.
Are you sure?
I believe so.
This is like, I remember when we did the thing at Hyde Park and you guys showed up and you didn't really just know what you were going to do.
Honestly, to be fair, London phoned us like 24 hours before.
Someone had
Honestly,
pulled out, hadn't they?
London literally called us 24 hours before and was like, yeah, so we had someone pull out, so obviously you're going to be the next best thing. And we were putting it out to the team of like, who's crazy enough to do something with no notice and will just do anything we ask. Yeah, we got the phone call, of course, and then it was that's how our friendship blossomed. That was honestly one of the best, in terms of my journey in horses, that was one of the best things I've ever done.
I do think the video came out really well, though.
It did. You guys did a good job.
I just didn't fall off. I was so nervous.
I was very impressed. I really didn't realise you hadn't ridden before either.
Well, in fairness, I didn't exactly do much than walk. It was to go around on the streets on London on a horse. For me, pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Your, I tell you, Hyde Park stables. Talk about that for a second, because that's obviously linked to it. And
yeah, so it's a riding school in central London. Basically, my family took it over 4 years ago now, and you can go there and go for rides around the park on the horses. There's 10 horses there. It's the last remaining mews in London, and yeah, you go around through Hyde Park on the horses, and it's really nice and enjoyable and
very Christmassy.
Very nice at Christmas when Winter Wonderland's there. Yeah. Just a bit cold.
What did you? I swear, when we did it, I remember you being really cold, because I think
didn't you not have a top on or something?
Yeah.
Oh no, you didn't.
He definitely did something. I remember you.
You were in a t-shirt. And it was winter.
It was winter, and he wanted skin out at some point.
Probably, it does sound like me, to be fair. It's probably the type of thing that I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we rock up to these events and go, look, you don't know what you're going to expect to get, but it's always going to be good.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jodie.
No,
this has been an awesome podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. If you've been listening on any... do you know what? It's just the same outros. I tell you what, Jodie, you try and outro this.
This has been the Rein podcast with Ash and Josh.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Peace. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Oh, lovely. You probably did a better job outroing that than we fucking
I forgot to say the world's best podcast.